vis-a-vis what this administration is doing already. Looking at national orientation and patriotism, it is very key here. When we talk about government, we should also be looking at the people. How can the people also keen into all of this?
The government, the National Orientation Agency, has a great role to play. Before we went on break, I was saying that information management is key to the success of the incoming administration. One of the reasons why the outgoing government, could not overcome most of the challenges it faced was because the people were not carried along. For the incoming government to be successful, Nigerians need to be carried along. Every policy of the government needs to be explained. People need to be told timelines for getting things done. The government needs to, appeal a lot to the calm and for calm and patience from the people, for understanding. Because some of those policies, for instance, I was talking about, subsidy removal, which a lot of analysts say is key to driving the kind of growth, the accelerated growth that we want in the country. It's important that the people understand that these measures, have to be put in place. And then if there are, measures from the government to cushion the effects, if it decides to, go ahead with the subsidy removal, these measures need to be communicated to the people. And, this is just one aspect, of several things that the government could do.
I'm going to reframe what you said.
Yes.
Beg your pardon, rephrase it. You said that a lot of people now would seem want subsidy to go. And I was going to ask you what gave you that impression, considering the people's reaction to it in 2012.
I mean, in 2012, you had analysts, a lot of, renowned economic analysts, some in favor, others not so much in favor of it. In 2015, we've seen like a departure from that. We've seen more people understanding the need, to put in monies that would have gone into, subsidy, payment of subsidies into real capital projects. I mean, this seems to be the tune amongst economic analysts nowadays. I'm not saying, if you go to the streets and you ask the average man, but more of the people, especially the intellectuals, are leaning more towards the subsidy removal, which is why I use that sample as a representation of the majority.
Do you see that
as
a potential obstacle where you have the elite, it would seem, understanding why, and then the majority of masses not quite getting the reason why? Do you see that disconnect?
Yes, and that is why I harped on the point of information management. Mm-hmm. It could be an obstacle if the people are not carried along, which is why information management will be key. Now the National Orientation Agency has its job cut out for it. Over time, we've seen not much from them. Now there is time to rally Nigerians behind the incoming government, and get as much as people to buy into the policies of the government and support the government in the whole. No government works anywhere if the people don't get involved.
I have to stop you there again for another break, and we'll return shortly to wrap this up. While we're wrapping this up with Tony, and before we leave, why don't you talk about information that the people need to be told blow-by-blow account of what exactly the government's policies are about? How do you expect to do all of that? Because we already have a tradition with this present administration where every Wednesday when the Council of State meets, they talk to the people, maybe in snippets on what has been given out. So how well do you expect them to go about this in this new administration?
I think the new administration needs to do much more than the weekly executive briefing. Sometimes the situation in the country warrants that accountable officers come out and address the people. For instance, after the abduction of the Chibok girls, it took how long for the government to officially, react to that situation. This is part of the problem of information management I identified. Recently, we had issues leading to fuel scarcity because marketers weren't paid. How long did it take for the government to come out to explain the position
so
to the people?
Say
I am saying beyond...
It shouldn't be delayed.
Yeah, issues-based. It should be issues-based because this is the only way to ensure that the people understand what it is you're doing. And if the people have faith in what you're doing, even if they're going to have to go through periods of hardship, then there is the patience, to follow you through, this period. So information is key.
That's a good place for us to wrap this off. Tony Usidamen, Public Affairs Analyst, many thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap on the show today, the start of the week. We appreciate you for being there for us. I'm Sulaiman Alede.
Well, thank you. I'm Maokwe Ogun.
I'm Neo Taigwe.
See you again.